already tonight, and I'm just really excited to share some information with you. Some of this has actually come from you and inspired by you. So I am just, again, super excited to have this program going on. If we're meeting for the first time, howdy, my name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, all about the Class B camper van traveling style. And what we do here is we share tips and tricks and tours and all kinds of things to help you be a better RVer. And if you're one of our regulars, I see quite a few of in here. Thank you again for spending an hour with me tonight. It's kind of a cool show. Let me show you what's going on. Purging campervan stuff is the topic tonight. I've had some really recent experience on that, so we want to share that with you. Let me zoom in so you can see this. We'll do some shout outs here in just a minute. Yeah, purging. It's such a great feeling, right? Van tip, killing bugs. Libation Live. It's a very special Reservoir bourbon whiskey. I kind of like the bourbon and the whiskey, and the reason it's in my van is kind of special. And we have a song of the week, a classic that I think you'll love. But it's really about your questions and some topics you might have in your mind. This is some things we'd love to talk about. And if you're new to the program, please type in NEW in the chat tonight, because that does replay after the show goes, the live stream stops. So welcome again. If you're new to the program, type in NEW in the chat so we can call you out specifically. Those are some of the topics. And what we're asking you to do is send in your viewer recommendations. I got a couple of spots in the program tonight. We'll call that out again. And again, this is not me being sage on the stage. It is about all of us collectively learning, sharing, and then you decide what works best for you. I do have my chip jar tonight, and I see a few folks have already given some tips. So appreciate that with the super stickers and the super chats. That just helps keep the program rolling, and I do really, really appreciate that. So thank you. We'll give you a shout out in here in just a second. If you have a topic, recommendation, things of that nature, you can go to my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, and there's a form there you can fill out. Where am I coming at you from? I am all fired up tonight. I'm coming at you from my old hometown, Forest Park, Illinois. We lived here from 2000. We had a condo here from 2004 all the way till just last year. And let me zoom in here for you. This is kind of Main Street, Madison Street. If you're familiar with Oak Park, Illinois, a lot of folks are familiar with that. And we are they're right next to each other. They're just divided by a road. And this is some interesting factoids about Forest Park, Illinois. In case you're not familiar with it, there are more dead residents than living. The ratio is about 30 to 1, dead to alive. It's got some massive, massive cemeteries, and some of them are kind of special. There's one, this is what you're looking at here. The picture is it was a monument dedicated in 1893. It commemorates defendants involved in labor unrest that were blamed, convicted, and executed for an unsolved bombing during the Haight Market Massacre. And what's kind of interesting is that whole union uprising was around an 8-hour work day, an 8-hour work day. That's what the whole thing was about. And I think about 5 or 6 people died, convicted, hung, and that's the monument. And the last thing is kind of interesting here in Forest Park, and I'm curious where you're watching from, so let me know, is that in World War II, there was a massive factory that built over 19,000 torpedoes. That's a lot of torpedoes, boys and girls, in case you're wondering, right? And where is Forest Park? This kind of gives you an example. Let me zoom in here for you. The red arrow is pointing right at the dot. Oak Park, many people are familiar with that because of Frank Lloyd Wright, his home and studio, 1905-ish. He lived there, a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings in Oak Park. The orange arrow, Chicagoland's kind of been in the news negatively again, a big shooting on 4th of July. That's just a little above Evanston. So that's where that's happening, which is not good news for sure. And it's hot today. It's summer, boys and girls. Look at this. It's really pretty warm everywhere. And somebody asked me about how my Volta system is holding up, please, because we'll want to talk to you about that for a second. I think the last thing is gas prices. It's pretty expensive here, and the spread is not big, 60 cents between the lowest and the highest. And in Forest Park, there's a freeway. That's that gray line that divides the town in half. And one half is a little bit lower priced. It's kind of weird. And the upper portion, you can get a house for about anywhere from, what is that, 600 grand, 800 grand, all the way down to about 300-ish on the other side of the tracks, as they say. Both are very charming points in the community. In fact, I'm sitting outside of my friend's house, Kevin and Nevia. We're street camping tonight. That's one of the reasons we travel in camper van, so that we can hang out with friends and family. And that's what I just love about the camper van experience, because it literally is, I can do everything I want to do from the camper van, wherever I am, including running the AC powered by Volta. All right, a couple more things to show you, then we'll do some shout outs. Where are you watching from? Always curious about that. And if there's a new country in the mix tonight, be sure and call that out, because we want to plant a flag in the on the map. A couple more things we'll give a shout out. So let us know where you're watching from. YouTube video this Sunday. We're doing a Scott Score video on the best-selling Class B camper van in the entire North America. And that's the Winnebago Travado 59K. And I was pretty stunned that it received a Scott score of 90. That'd be 90 points. That's the highest ranking Scott score of the vans we've done thus far. And you will not want to miss that. It's a pretty juicy video. There's a couple things that are head scratchers for me, but nonetheless, that's what's coming up on Sunday. All right, so let's take a look and say hi to some folks here. Just a delight to have you here. Shirley, thank you for your super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. That's so awesome. And here's, she says I'm early. That's cool. Thanks for being first in line, front row seater. And here's Mason Mike. Appreciate that, sir. Abs are made in the Travado galley. In my case, for sure. Thank you for supporting that the cause here. So I do appreciate that. Let's say some hi to some other folks here. We've got Steve in the house from Louisville. Louisville, love Louisville. Indianapolis in the house. So great. Not good without AC this time of year, David says. Totally agree with you. Oh my gosh. Bourbonnais just was there in Kankakee area. Hi, Judith. Good to see you. Here's Ron, New York. Good to see you. Van Liberty's hanging out in Michigan. And here's Jane and Roger. Spent some time with them this weekend. And they were kind of the inspiration for some of what we're talking about tonight, which is purging. So I just would like to have you in the house tonight. And thank you for being there. You guys are amazing. So David's in the house. 5 yesterday, I was traveling a little Route 66 in Illinois. Yeah, if you get a chance to run Route 66, start in Chicago, down by the Art Museum, Art Institute, and then my suggestion would be to maybe even start there. If you want to avoid all this big city stuff, start in Pontiac, Illinois. Cute little town, about 45 minutes outside of Chicago, and stay the night at their Harvest Host site, and then run Route 66, stay on the road from Pontiac to Springfield. If you haven't done that, it would be a lovely overnight trip, an easy weekend. Some of you in this crowd have done that with me, which is pretty amazing. Let's see, Buddy Honda Intentions in the house from Virginia. Great to see you too. Here's Steve in the house. Appreciate that. And I'm going to miss some folks tonight, but Donna, Arlington, Texas. Oh, a very pleasant 104. No problemo. Here's Debbie from Virginia. This is great. Kathmandu, good to see you. Finally checking in for once. Thank you for doing so. I appreciate that. Tim's in the house. That's great. And it wouldn't be a show without Ohio Sharon and Catherine. Great to see you. Chicago suburbs. That's awesome. And Stephen has a question here. We'll get there in just a second. The question is, speaking of Embassy RV, is it this? Yeah, look at that. Embassy RV in the house. Hi, Scott. When is the next Embassy RV and Terry Minnick's live streaming? We're trying to get to the bottom of that. Probably August, I'm going to say at this point. So there might be one in July, but probably not. As soon as we have that nailed down, we'll post that. So I will be joining the Embassy Owner Wannabe Zoom session on July 12th. I'll be joining that for about a half hour, and I'm really excited to meet and chat with y'all. All right, we're going to miss a few folks tonight, and Javier's in the house, and 12 Hours in the house, Gary's in the house, Kathy, good to see you, and just a lot of great folks. I just really appreciate y'all being here. Tim Ken Carl, I just love that. Upstate New York. Okay, so let's show a few more things, and we get into the topic. I'm always late. This hour zooms by. We go for 1 hour, unless we need to go overtime for a particular reason. So, okay, we talked about that. Let's talk about guests. So again, if you're new to the program, what we do is we have like a guest a month. Here's who we have coming up on the 27th of this month. Andrew Cooley, he's the Chief Revenue Officer and co-founder of Storyteller Overland, a big Volta customer making adventure vans They're really cool. You don't want to miss that. Harvest Hosts. We have the CEO of Harvest Hosts coming on this program on September 7th. I'm super excited about that. Whoops, let's get that off. And then we have Volta. Jack Johnson, co-founder and chief technology officer, is going to be on the program on October 12th. And here's my ask of you. Do you have a guest suggestion? What kind of a guest would you like to have come on the show, have a little bit of an interview with me and you asking questions of the guest? That's the email address. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. I've got some ideas, but this show is really about you, not me. And if you have a guest suggestion you would like to put on the list, we're doing about one a month, maybe every one a month. Please email me right there, gslviewerrecommendation@gmail.com, and let's get the list built out. I'd much rather have you help me build that list than me do it on my own. All right, how are we doing so far? Whew, I am fired up. Let's see. Oh yeah, hey, if you're having a good day, give us a thumb up. I sure appreciate that. Why not having a good day? All right, so let's see what we got here. Go right here. All right, so let's talk about, let me just see if there's any more questions really fast. We always want to get to those. And we stand by searching. So again, the question format is 3*3 question marks and then your question. It helps me find it more quickly. And if you want to do one of the super chats, like Mason Mike here or Shirley, put some money in the jar, and that definitely elevates your question. So I do appreciate that. Okay, so let's do a content tonight. And this is really very current news for me, and that is this. That is purging the campervan. And where does this come from? It comes from two areas. When I bought my van, I planned to travel in it full-time, which I am doing. I'm in my third year, as many of you know. The first RV show I went to in January 2019, the Tampa RV Super Show, I loaded up my van with about $1,500 worth of stuff. Yeah, she had tables and chairs and rugs and grills, all this goofiness. Tons of cookware, tons of plates. I am living in a van, so you got to have all the stuff, right? And what happened over time is I realized I didn't need most of it. The only thing I have remaining from that is my propane grill. And where this came to a head again, and I'm pretty good on this, but where it came to a head again is putting out this video, my van tour of 93,000 miles. And where, stepping back and looking at that video, I started looking at what in the heck was in my van. So we're kind of familiar with this, our closets. And as organized as they are, they're just full of clothes. You probably only wear the same 10 of anything over and over, right? And what I discovered through that video is I had way too many clothes. It should look like this. And what I wasn't doing is applying this, my own 60-day purge rule. And what I've done since that video released is I've been purging my van like crazy. And I wanted to share that with you and challenge you, whether you have your van or not. And if you have your van and you're taking trips, how much of the stuff in your van is really needed? And that's the purpose of a 60-day rule. Think through, how often do I touch this? And if I haven't used it or touched it in 60 days, then you probably don't need it in the van. That's what I've learned. And there's been a whole lot of stuff in my van that I have not used or touched in 60 days. And let me give you a couple examples. And this is not a judgment on you. This is a judgment on me, applying my 60-day rule. It is, though, for you to help judge your own situation. And that's what we do here. We learn, we share, you decide. So let me zoom in here for you. 60-day rule means, again, if you haven't used it or touched it in 60 days and it's not seasonal like a coat, it probably doesn't belong in a camper van because space is so precious. Example, this is a screenshot from that video, the 93,000 mile video. This is all I had 7 pairs of jeans. 3 of them I haven't worn, 4 really I haven't worn in probably a year. So purge rule, guess what? Out they go. And I rearranged my closet a little bit, and that's what it looks like after. And this was the before on the other over bed cabinet. Again, rearranging. Now, some of the food I've used, but those potatoes and nuts, we're cutting back on carbs and fat. So out they went, and now look at this. Holy cow. Yes, I have more room for libations, no doubt about it. But wait, there's more. This was the under food storage, my under bed storage cabinet that I was storing food. Why? Because I was trying to do some chefery, Van Chef, cast iron Van Chef, and I've already had that thing for 6 weeks. And you know what? I don't need 4 pounds of flour, a quart of cornmeal, all this stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? So out it went. Donate it to the food bank, and this is what it looks like now. I can't tell you what a difference it makes. My question for you is, how much stuff is needed for a trip? Most of you are not full-time travelers like me, but when you get ready for a trip, how much stuff do you actually put in the van that you never use or leave in the van that you never use? And working with Roger, you're going to see a van tour coming up, and his lovely wife, Jane, really got me thinking about this when we toured their van, because they don't travel full-time. They just take trips. But they have empty cabinets, and they said they don't fill them up because they know what they need on a trip, how much stuff is needed on a trip, which kind of gets to the next thing. How much stuff did you pack and not use during your trip? That might be an indication that you probably didn't need it. Now, I'd recommend kind of going on a few trips until you get a sense of what you actually need. My question for you is, how much did you pack and not use on your last trip? The less stuff you have, you're certainly not carried around and saving a few miles on MPG, right? Maybe? Pretty cool. My question for you is, what are 3 things could you do without on your next trip? So next time you're out roaming around, give yourself, again, if you've been on a few trips and it's still in there, you never used it, and it's not seasonal, what 3 things could you do without on your next trip? And just kind of experiment. If you find you really actually needed it, you can always go buy it or suffer through it and put it back in your van. So let me give you a case in point. Now, this will strike some of you as surprising, maybe not. This is a familiar graphic if you've been hanging around What's Up Wednesdays for a while. I had all this stuff in my van. And when I departed home base this year, after being there for a little while, 2 things had to go. One, the Instapot. I only use it to cook rice. I've totally solved that problem buying pre-cooked rice. And I can't tell you how much space that has cleared up in my underbed storage. It's amazing. So single-purpose item, boo. In most cases in the van. Dual-purpose item, now that's much better. Out went the Instapot. Cowboy boots. I had 3 sets of cowboy boots. Even for a cowboy like me, that's kind of overkill. I have 2 now. They sit in the wheel well of the passenger seat. My guitar. Now, this is going to shock some of you. Let me show you this, or not. So, my guitar, there it is in the case. This is its nighttime position. It rests in the front, again, passenger, from the passenger seat. I move this guitar twice a day. When it's bedtime, it comes up front, and in the daytime, it goes in the back and is bungee corded to the cargo van door with the bed up. I've owned this guitar for a little over 2 years now. I've spent 10 hours playing the guitar, trying to learn it. By the way, you can't learn a guitar in 10 hours, but I moved this thing for 2 years. And the result is this. Out went the guitar. And I got to tell you, it was sad. It was an admit of defeat because I didn't accomplish my goal. But you know what? What I've learned is moving that guitar twice a day only brought anxiety and stress because I should be playing it. I should be learning it. I made some commitments to the channel to learn how to play a darn song. So I admit defeat. And this is what happened. I sold the guitar. I took it to Guitar Center in Villa Park, Illinois, and there she is in all her glory. The guy was really excited to see the guitar, actually. They looked up what they could sell it for as a used guitar. He said, this thing's in perfect condition. I'm like, no kidding. And I got $270 for that guitar. I spent $300 on it over 2 years ago. And with sadness, I left it with him and the case. He goes, we're not going to give any money for the case. I'm like, no problem. It's not going with me. Give it to the new owner. It's a fully self-contained lesson on guitars. But I can't tell you, last night was the first night I didn't have it in my van. I didn't have to move it last night. I didn't have to move it today. My stress has gone down because I'm not looking at that guitar that I'm supposed to be playing and learning lessons. And that is kind of the lesson here is, are you better off without some stuff that are creating stress in your van? I'm even questioning the grill again. I am on and off about the grill because I use it maybe 2-3 times a month. I love it when I use it, but I'm kind of looking at that thing again. It's not bringing me stress. It's bringing me some joy, but the usefulness of it is 3 times out of 30 every month. I don't know. I'm liking the empty space. So let me pose this question to you. When you're cleaning out the garage, you get everything organized again, a seasonal thing, right? Do you feel better after cleaning out the garage? Do you have the same feeling about your van? Items in your van. Is it clutter? My guitar was. My Instant Pot was. My third pair of cowboy boots was. All the extra clothes. With creating stress, the guitar for sure. Absolutely. Creating stress for me. Does it bring joy, those items in your van? I can tell you now, without a doubt, everything in my van is giving me great joy, and I'm purging just probably a little bit more. I'm not done yet. I'm applying the 60-day purge rule to my own van. So here's my question for you. If you applied the 60-day purge rule to your garage, your basement, your attic, how much happier are you, and could you make a little money to do something maybe fun to trip? Could you worry about gas prices? If you do the same treatment in your van, and even the biggest vans have the smallest amount of space, right? Because it's a van. How much happier would you be by applying a 60-day purge rule? Just something for you to think about. And I owe a debt of gratitude for Gene and Roger having me go through their van. My cab looks 100% better than it did the day I rolled in and helped. Wait till you see their van tour. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. But I was inspired to get rid of the stuff in my van that I have not looked at, probably wouldn't, a very long time. So that is my thing for you tonight. That is our van topic, is apply the 60-day purge rule to your favorite space that's giving you stress. And don't you usually feel better after it's done? I know I do. And I am just, as sad as I was in admitting defeat on the guitar, I can tell you what it was a pleasure not to move that damn thing yesterday and today, the one last time. So, all right, let's look for some questions. And tell me what you think on that. Have you tried that rule? And what have you done to help keep extra stuff out of your van that hasn't been necessary? I'm curious about that as always. Okay, looking for a couple questions. See y'all talk amongst yourselves. That is so awesome. That's what this is about. This might be kind of a new name. Diane, hello from Arizona. Is it toasty in Arizona? And hold on. Let's see. This is jumping around a little bit. Stand by. Tin can car we got. Teresa's in the house. Good to see you. Stand by. I saw a question right here. So Zanti, I'll tell you, has the suspected reduction in RVing this summer due to gas prices come to pass? Smaller crowds at campsites, campgrounds, national parks. I've not been to national parks. I can tell you campgrounds are packed on weekends. Campsites, packed on weekends. So I haven't seen any change there yet. And reservations going out weekends are packed. So we're going to the Hershey RV show in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the campgrounds. Are you ready for this? The on-site overnight camping in their parking lot with no service, $60 a night. And the closest campsite, as recommended by the Hershey, Pennsylvania show, is it was 120 or $140 a night. I can't remember. So no, I haven't seen this yet. Probably the big rig. You're probably close and staying closer to home, but no, I haven't. I have not noticed anything yet for you. And And that is, oh, Zentu. Look at you, Zenti. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully answered your question well. That will go a long way on helping fill the gas tank. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate that. That's so awesome. That's called a super chat, boys and girls. And so Javier says, can I see the engine on your RV? Can you rev your RV? No, because I'm sitting behind the driver's seat, and that would take a tremendous amount of effort, to be honest. And revving the engine sounds like a revved engine. So it's pretty quiet on the inside. If somebody wants to ask me about running Volta, I could talk about that a little bit, Javier, but yeah, that's going to be hard to pull off in the current situation I'm in. So I'm sorry I'm not able to accommodate you there. So Mason Mike wants to know, Scott, what are some of the purge victims? Did the guitar get the axe? It did. And I can't tell you, I admit defeat, which was why it's been hanging around. So it was emotion, not logic, that kept that thing in here. And I almost made money on the deal, which is pretty nice, $270. It was a beautiful guitar. And if and when I get everything else in my mind cleared out, then I'll buy another one. We'll try it again. I'll buy a used one this next time. And here's Greg in the house from Wheeling, just up the road. So thank you for that, Mason Mike. Appreciate that question. And so Catmandu's saying extremely difficult when one is green to Vanlife, walking to a camping world, not walking out with stuff that you really never. Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that. We've had some discussions quite a while back. One of the earliest What's Up Wednesdays. It's about recycling, and that too is difficult in the van. You have to have a separate container, and the problem is there's very few places you can actually recycle the stuff. It's really kind of annoying. I would do it if I could recycle more easily. And here's Frank and Sharon talk about way too much stuff we picked up our van. One of the greatest photographs of all the stuff they loaded in, which you managed to get, but yeah, kind of picking through that, what's really important. Super, super smart. So yeah, so it's kind of a thing. I think everybody goes through it. So there's no shame in it. There's no wrong answers. It's just, if for me at this point, I actually like seeing open space in my van. And that way also, if you're traveling and you find some really cool stuff that you want to bring back to home base after your trip's over, now you have space for it. You're not filling up your living space. You can fill up some of the cabinetry space with those items. So that is so that is a good way to do that. I can't Manduce and I should put a cat on the guitar case. Yeah, I'm really a flute. Yeah, I'm not blowing any flutes. You guys crack me up. Let's see. So this is a good question here. All good questions. Amanda wants to know, how do you store gear like recovery boards, leveling blocks? Superb question. All questions are superb. So I have what are called Go Treads, GOTREADS. They're on my website store, product store. And if you buy them there through Amazon, they link out, you get them delivered. What's cool about Go Treads is they fold up to about this big. But they extend out to probably, I'm going to guess, 4 feet, maybe even 5 feet, to help you get out of the sand, the mud, that sticky, slippery situation. They come in 2, and again, they fold up really compact. And what I do is I have them against the van skin on the inside of my storage under the bed. I have them bungee corded, so they actually sit on edge like this against the skin, and then they're wide enough that I have them bungee corded, the Go Treads, and I have another bungee cord that I stack my propane on top of those. So if you can imagine, the Go Treads, and then I stack the propane bottles on top, I can get like 4 or 5 propane bottles in there, utilizing the space on top of the Go Treads. It's really a lovely situation. And some of you have been pulled out of the sand using those Go Treads, even mine. You know how great they are. So great question. They fold up. Leveling blocks, that's where they kind of stack like Legos. I tried those. I never used them except at home base in one of our really steep driveways, and they didn't collapse nearly as nicely as the Go Tread. So if you're looking for recovery boards, I would highly recommend Go Treads. Some others swear by other things, but it's a good question. We're late on van tip, but great question. Okay, so let's see what else we got. A couple more questions for you. Yeah, this is really hard to do, Patty. But make it kind of a game, right? Um, First thing, why does it work? So it doesn't make it a game, right? See how often you use it. Put a post-it note on it and put a date on it and a time and where you might use it, and just let time go by. And if you had a whole bunch of stuff that you haven't touched, I mean, seriously, what is the point? Throwing stuff out while he's at work. That sounds like a great discussion after he gets home. Was looking for something, right? Oh, Kim's in the house. Hey, good to see you. So she says, you've also said in the past you don't use the inside stove much. You use your most cooking on the grill. There's something to be said for cooking in bulk as you do keep the grill. Yeah, I probably will because it is actually quite useful. And I just love grilling in the campground barbecue grills. They're really not very efficient. You really got to load it full of charcoal. And I do love my grill. One reason I love my grill, thank you, Mason Mike, is because I got a grill cover for it. And that made all the difference in the world, is that grill. Jenna Marie Weston, did I get some of the stickers? I am removing some of the stickers a little bit. I'm kind of down to a point where I really enjoy everything I have. So our shout out to our embassy folks. Look at this. I moved my sticker. And for my Russo folks, that's, I guess, this one right there. So, so the important stuff is here. And I'm surprised nobody's ever asked me about this. So I used to have the Apollo 11 map, and this is a Van Gogh exhibit thing that fit. So, yeah, Steve's like empty shelf, so more booze. I got plenty of booze. Thank you, sir. But yes, I do have much more space. Chris wants to know, have you always considered cargo carry capacity in your decisions? Yes and no. I know what it was when I had all this stuff, and I weighed it on one of those cat scales, and it was 8,600 pounds basically, so a little over. Somebody do the math on me. Is it 2 tons or 4 tons? That's a full tank of water, full tank of gas, and everything. I had way more stuff then, so I know it's less than that now. I can tell you, the less you carry, the less it's going to take to move that down the road. What I'm doing now, because I've been in urban environments where I know things, I don't carry around as much water, certainly if I'm at campground. And I let the tank, I stay a half tank to like a quarter tank, so I'm not carrying around the extra gasoline. Debate on that. You could fill up cheaper, although gas seems to be going down slightly. But generally, no, because I know what my limits are. What bothers me is the stress level and just clutter. So that's a bigger decision for me at this point. Yeah, apparently this is a common theme, more room for bourbon. Speaking of that, let's do our van tip quick, and then we'll get to Libation Live, because I really want to tell you guys about this story. Oh no, this is this is on my to-do list this week. So that's thank you. So Zan T says, I tried to buy items through your website, but links didn't work. I did buy the Go Treads. Good for you. Appreciate that. Try. So I'll try and get those cleaned up. I have had a love-hate relationship with Amazon. They're super convenient. So I do need to go revisit those links. Some of them I've not looked at sometimes. So thank you for the heads up. All right, so let's look at the van tip of the night. I think I have to show you guys the van tip of the night. All right, so here we go. Van tip. So these often come from me. Many times they come from you. Today's van tip comes from one of you. Let me zoom in here for you. And who likes these guys? What the heck is this thing? Well, that'd be a mosquito. I don't think anybody likes mosquitoes. What is this thing? The stupidest creature God ever created, a moth that goes to the brightest light in the dimmest space, right? And then leaves a fuzz everywhere. What is this guy? You know, insects are actually pretty cool when you zoom in on them, but look at that thing. You could make a monster movie out of the common housefly, right? Look how cool that thing looks. And where this comes from is, who likes these things in your house, in your tent, in your van? I gotta tell you, it is not pleasant. So, kind of a van tip coming from one of you. This comes from Jared, and let me zoom in here so you can read this. He says, we bought one of these last year. He's talking about a bug zapper. Doesn't make zap noises. You can turn on at night in the van, take care of flying pests. May have slipped in. I have a funny story about that in a second. And so he's recommending this Zap Out camping lantern bug buster bulb zapper tent light portable LED emergency lamp with waterproof mosquito repellent. Holy cow! Who's not to like one of those things? for sure. And what I did is I actually ordered one of these because I hate bugs in my van. Mosquitoes in particular, they always, moths, oh my God, give me a heart attack. And so here's what it is. And it's pretty cool. 28 bucks. You actually get a 3-pack. I didn't know I was ordering 3 of them. I thought I was ordering just one. There's the part number, so you can take a screenshot quick. Here's the description. It's pretty wordy, so we won't go into it. But kind of reading through it, I'm like, this is pretty cool stuff. And I was on the road, so if you're on the road and you want to order from Amazon, here's how you do it, boys and girls. This is where Amazon really kicks into gear for convenience. And then as you order it and you have it shipped to an Amazon locker, and you go pick it up in a couple days. I ordered that night, got it the next day. I was shocked in Rockford. And let me show you what this thing looks like. I'm just really impressed, and then I have a story for you. So what attracted me was a couple things. They're really tiny. I literally did not know that it came in a 3-pack. So for 28 bucks, and if you've been watching for a while, you know my stance on small town Main Street merchants versus Amazon. If I find something in a Main Street small town business, I'm going to promote them and point you that way, not to Amazon. But these would be really, I've never seen anything like this in a small town merchant. So fair game to Amazon, right? So it's solar, and I've not used it. I just literally unpacked it before the show tonight because I want to do a video about this. And what I'm really excited about the color. And because there's 3 of them, and it becomes a lantern as well, I can have a couple in the van or put them all outside when I get to a camp to help keep the mosquitoes off. So we get to try this. And so just a shout out to Jared for sharing this with us. And I'm just really, really excited about it. Let me tell you this story. I did not have this bug zapper at the time. And who knows what these are. When Kyle and I moved from Seattle and we saw these in the backyard the first time, I'm like, what are those? If you don't know what those are, oftentimes called fireflies, I call them glow bugs. And these guys actually have some merit because they kind of pulsate. They're not attacking me. They glow. And if you've seen these glow bugs in action in real life, you know how cool these things are. Until they end up in your bedroom in your van. One snuck in. I'm all in bed, cozy, comfy. I'm the how in the hell he got in here. And all of a sudden he fluoresced. And I'm like, I jump out of bed going, oh my God, turn the lights on. Of course, you can't find him. They camouflage like the wood. And I'm like, I turn the lights off for this guy to do his thing again. So I turn the light off, just horrified. He's not like on top of me or something, right? And he fluoresced, and I unfortunately had to kill him because he was in my bedroom, and I just didn't like it. But if I'd had one of these bad boys, would he have been attracted to that? I don't know. We'll find out. But I just hate killing fireflies. Unless they're in my van, everything else totally fair game. But I didn't want him leaving that smear on the side of the wall. So again, if you want to try these out, I'm going to be making a video about this. And to the audience friend that pointed out my links aren't working, this is a fresh link. So you can go to my my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, click the link. It does help support the channel a great deal. And by the way, even if you don't want to buy these, and you just click on anything on that item, it takes you to Amazon, and then to shop at your heart's content with all the other stuff. Just search for it. That does help the channel as well. The link is live for, I think, 24 hours. So we'll give a shout out to Jared again for helping us with that tip. And again, if you have a van tip, that's the email address or fill out the form online. How are we doing so far? We got a bunch of people in here today. Give a thumb up. Look at this. This little guy went swimming. It's so great. And hope you enjoyed that van tip. And again, if you have a van tip, please share, and we can all be better RVers and travelers. All right, let's look for a few more questions here. And yeah, Van Liberty is saying, help get stuck out of the embassy camp out 2 years ago. That was crazy. We tried them at the embassy camp out this year, and they actually didn't work. The guy had buried his, it was a Travado. I think it was a GL, right? It was a National Park Edition. Buried his front wheels to the axle, and the go treads didn't work. I actually had to get a tractor to pull them out. It was pretty scary, but yeah, it was just great to have. We tried the go treads, and he was in too far. So let's see. Mud Pie wants to know. Oh, Mud Pie, that might be a new name for the channel or on the session tonight. Libation Live in just a couple minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to share that story with you. How many times have you scraped the bottom of the RV van, damaging stuff on the underside? I did it once, backing into a curb before I had the van lifted, and I banged the Volta lithium battery pack box. You know, it's a very sturdy steel encased battery that comes from Volta, and Winnebago puts another steel box around it. But when I banged that box, that was a fairly good bang, nothing terrible. But that taught me two things. Don't back in unless you examine the ground clearance and get the van lifted. Since I have lifted the van, I have not had, I'm trying to think, the second alternator scraped once. After I had the van lifted, it was a really odd-sized curb. But since I've had that lifted, I have not had a problem with that. So, but that's what worried me, and that's why I had it lifted. And some of the audience here have lifted their van. I'd be curious to know what your experience has been after you lifted it, or what you have banged up after not lifting it, or not lifting it. So, Mike says, is air fryer not going anywhere? Use it more than my stove. Yeah, me too. It's kind of like the grill, right? So that's great. Steve, look at that. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Wow, $10. That buys you about a gallon and a third here in Illinois. That's pretty expensive right where I am right now. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Super supportive. Love that. Let's see, a couple more questions, and then we'll do, let's see, lightning bugs. Yeah, good job on that. Lightning bugs, I like glow bugs. Now, what's kind of interesting about the glow bugs in Kankakee Campground where I was, which is about an hour south of Chicago, they flash. They flash. They don't pulsate, which is what I've seen all the other glow bugs do. So there's maybe a slightly different species down there. I tried to capture them on video, and it just doesn't come out. They are just the coolest bugs. Those guys have merit in my book, and I don't like flying bugs. Let's see. Zen wants to know, I've noticed many times in your videos that you leave screens wide open. I always figured you just liked bugs. Yeah, not so much, sir, or ma'am. The small bugs actually get through the screens because the screens are pretty, the holes are fairly large, so the little gnats and the really annoying little tiny bugs get through. And the screen and the channel, there's a big gap, so they can actually kind of walk around. They're not a screen like a window screen in a traditional residential window. So if they're a really determined bug, and like the light right here, like this thing right here, right? So they're attracted to the light. So if I have my screen down, they're going to find a way in to get next to that light. And that's why I'm really excited to try these, because there's just nothing more irritating than bugs in my van. And I actually go around and try and put a light on and get them with a paper towel. So that's how crazy I'm about it. Yeah, lightning bugs are just so cool. I totally agree with you, John. Yeah, Donna, I put them in a glass jar, watch them glow, then I have to capture them. As I mentioned, I'm not into flying bugs. Those guys do have some grace, and they kind of are out in the woods. It looks pretty cool. All right, so let's do this. Oh, yeah, this is kind of fun. So let me just remind you, we do have stickers. If you're new to the channel and the audience, we have stickers. We got 3 to choose from. Old school. Go to my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, and get all the details there. Instagram, we post some fun stuff on Instagram, so follow me there if you want. I need you, each and every one of you. So, again, speaking with some of you over the last few months and texting back and forth, you know I'm really on a tear to do some things differently, and I'm needing your help, asking for your help. What am I talking about? Let me zoom in here for you. So, I've heard from many of you that you like seeing tours of vans by other owners, not just mine, and not of vans sitting in a dealer sales lot, showroom. So if you want to have your van toured, either live or virtual on this show, please email me right there, gslviewerrecommendation@gmail.com, and I would love to have a chat with you and see what is on your mind. I find these hugely valuable. We've done a couple of them. We've recorded 2 of them coming up, Roger and Jane's and Rich's van, and I think you're going to love them. I just love doing those van tours with you. So that's one thing I'm asking for. The second thing is I'm asking for help from coordinators, I'm calling them, for scheduling roundups, that's meetups, and jamborees, which are campouts. Again, email me if you're interested, and if you're in my path, we're going through Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee over the next 4 months. And if you're in one of those states and have some ideas, I would love to hear from you. I can't do all this and help expand the channel and really do a good job for everybody. So I'm asking for your help, literally. And the last thing is, last couple things, if you have a host site, so if you have land where we can gather, campsites we've tried, and it's kind of, raw land would be better to go dry camping. So if you have land, access to a land, or know somebody that does, that would want to host us, that would be great. If you have behind the scenes tours of a cool something that would be interesting for the audience, or even me, like a distillery, I don't know, let me know about that. And if you, again, have ideas on guests for the show, we would love to know about that. All right. Whew. I'm ready for Libation Live. Excuse me, wet my whistle. All right, so here's a story on Libation Live. If you're, again, new to the channel, where this comes from is two places. Number one, I taste, I eat so many cool things. Particularly with Libation Live, it might come from a Harvest Host site, which is a winery, a brewery, or a distillery. I love Harvest Host. If you're not familiar with that program, go to my website and you can check it out there. What makes this special on this Libation Live tonight is this. Let me just make sure I'm on point here. Yes. And let me zoom in here for you. Apparently I'm getting a little bit of a following because now I show up in person, and this is what happens. I get a note. This comes from Nancy and Ed at the Embassy Campout at the beginning of June, and they presented me with this bottle of bourbon. And I hope I'll get through this without tearing up, because it's just, and many of you have done this for me, giving me a little treat. And this is Reservoir. It comes out of Virginia. And I just want to say a big thanks to Nancy and Ed. This is the little note. And if you say the first sentence there, we literally are here today, that would be the Embassy Campout because of the channel. And that's what I love to do. Even though I'm not in an Embassy RV, we learn, we share, you decide, right? So let me tell you about Reservoir Distillery. It's pretty cool. It comes out of Virginia, like on the Atlantic side, not on the Tennessee, Bristol, Tennessee side. And what's cool about this, are you ready for this? 100% corn bill mash. That's actually mash bill. That's actually pretty unusual. There's some stuff about it. You ready for this? It's a lady that's making booze, and she's a stud. She's got a book. She's got this whole thing going on, and I am just so go to their website, Reservoir Distillery. I don't think I've ever heard of a female owner of a distillery. I could be wrong. Usually they're guys, and I am just really pleased to share this with you tonight. You can actually buy this online. I'm going to pop the top here in just a second. sherryswine.com is where you can get it. And again, if you're not into this stuff, that's okay. I am, and many of us are. So let's do this. Let me roll this forward. So let's open this up. I got a wax cover like Maker's Mark. So cool. I've had this one teensy little sample. Teensy, you can see it's full, right? All right, so cheers, everybody. You ready? Libation Live. So Taste from the Road, and Traveling Robert likes to do he got IPA beers. I'm not big on IPA, so we do other things. So cheers. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's a little sharp up front, but man, the caramel, the vanilla, and what's cool, that is delicious, is, let me take this off so you can see this. They are see this. The bottle is hand numbered in the batch. Pretty expensive, like 60, 70 bucks a bottle. Love this bottle. Look at that bottle. I am saving that bottle because it's going to fit beautifully in my cabinet, which is a van tip, right? It's really yummy. Jack, are you watching tonight? That is really superb. So this was year 2021, batch 9, bottle 673. I was looking for the proof. The distiller signed it, or the still master. I'm trying to find the proof. I can't see it on here at a glance. 100% corn mash bill. Oh, there it is. It's 100 proof. Ooh, no wonder it jingles my tongue. See right there? So that's delicious. So if you're looking for some cool women-owned business, bourbon, whiskey, hit them up. That is just so great. So thank you again to Ned and Nancy for bringing that forward. I just love getting treats like that. It's always just a blessing. And oh, that is so good. Mm. You know what I find about the 100 proof, after your taste buds adjust, the flavor just comes so forward. This one has a lingering taste. I would almost say it's smoky on the on the down the palate. Mm. That is delish. Yeah, some of you have given me some spectacular bourbons and whiskeys, and I thank you for that. Hey, if you're going to the Volta camp out next month in August, we're going to have a whiskey tasting. I am certain of it. I am certain of it. Speaking of, okay, a couple more questions. My God, we're going to run out of time. I will get to all your questions tonight. Stand by. I just want to get this out here real quick into the ether. So speaking of van events, the Volta campout is pretty much sold out, and tickets no longer available. So those ticket sales ended June 30th, and I'm going to see quite a few of you there, and I'm really excited about it. The Russos are going. I'm so excited. The Russos are going to be joining us at the campout. They're in a Storyteller Overland van Transit, which has Volta in it, and I'm really excited. We got a roundup coming at the Hershey Show. We now have confirmation the General RV Travado booth is where we'll be on Saturday the 17th, and I'm just super excited about that. So Hershey, Pennsylvania is way on the other side from Pittsburgh, but we're going, and I'm super pumped. I already got my show credentials, and I'm so juiced. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a busy week. Holy cow. And the last thing I want to share with you here is we're going to do a roundup at the Adventure Van Expo in Chattanooga on Sunday, October 2. October 2nd, 11 a.m., we're going to be at the Rover Vans booth, where I hope to have my new ladder installed prior to that. And so if you're in the Chattanooga area, please plan to come join us. It would just be a delight. It would be a super delight to meet you in person. I've met so many of you in person. For me, it's just such a game changer. All right, let's look at some questions here, and I see some super chats, so hang tight. Yeah, Jane saying, we love the extra clearance that their off-highway van lift provided. More peace of mind for sure. And it looks cool too, right? Ryan's 91 watching, 39 likes. Yeah, give it a thumb up, folks. Sure appreciate that. Come on, people. Oh, that's just cool. Frank and Sharon, Harvest Host site in Kentucky, eating freshly made ice cream. Yum. And watching the glow bugs. Yeah, they're just magic. And they're only around for a few weeks. And now the cicadas are taking over in Illinois. I don't know how you feel about those things. That is truly God's dumbest animal. You ever seen one of those things fly? And they're so ugly, and they're so, oh my God. And they sound, I don't know, some people love the sound. I'm not a big fan of them. And they just start coming out, and they go all the way through summer into September. All right, so let's see. We got Allied Forces. Is there a problem with carrying open containers in the van? You know, I've been asked this. I should ask a policeman. It would be interesting. I've heard from the Wendlands. I follow them closely. Hopefully you do too. My suspicion is that they'll consider this not a regular car, because I do have quite a few open containers. But clearly they're stored. I'm not drinking it. They're not like an open beer can up front when I'm driving or when I'm otherwise. So I don't have a good answer for it, except that I'm not drinking while I'm driving. It's stored, and I'm pretty sure that they would see it as an RV, not a car. That's my guess. But next time I have a friendly with a cop, which, by the way, happens on a regular basis. I'm in like rest areas. I'm in Cracker Barrels. I'm in parking lots, Walmarts, things where they're kind of checking things out, and they're just waiting for their next call to come up. And I've had quite a few of them come and drive around the van, and I wave at them, and they wave, and then we have a little chat. So next time I'll ask them. That would be a highway trooper or a city cop. That would be really interesting. It's a good question. But I think in general I would be okay. Now this, like I'm on the street doing this tonight. Again, they could probably justify it. It's like I'm not moving, staying with my friends, staying in my van tonight, not moving. But yeah, it's a good question. Look at this Gilbert project. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that super chat. I certainly appreciate it. That's going to help a long way. That's about 4 gallons, well, 3 and some, of gasoline here in Illinois. Let us know if you can taste the waxy orange peel on the tasting notes. I'm not sure what waxy means. Orange for sure. This is really good. This is really yummy. And there's a great bourbon whiskey bar in one of the little towns I stayed at, Bradley, Illinois. They had Texas, Yellow Rose of Texas Distillery. Yellow Rose? Oh my God, it was so good too. This is really good. Waxy, I'm not sure about waxy. That is really yummy. Thank you for that question. For your tip, I just love that. Super chat. I just love it. It's so great. I always have so much fun on this. Fitness budget. Thank you, sir. And Liberty, so great. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of feedback on my fitness video. Thank you, Van Liberty. Really appreciate it. A lot of feedback on that fitness video. I had 2 people say, our ving didn't make you fat. You didn't move and you ate like a pig. That's what made you fat. I'm like, thank you, sir. It was about the headline mostly, but okay, what else we got here? Yeah, then smoke. I definitely got the smoky. Oh, you're really going for the Volta event. That's so great. It's kind of Volta customers and lithium curious. Now we know you have an embassy at Van Liberty, but they're kind of welcoming everybody. But if you haven't got your tickets already, then you're done. So how we do it on time? A couple minutes. So Mason Mike wants to know, hey Scott, when are you coming back out to the Southwest? Good question. So my route plan at this point, I kind of alluded to this. It kind of goes around Volta training. And the Volta brand ambassador, as many of you know. So I'm kind of going up Michigan, around the lake, up Wisconsin, around the lake and into Michigan. And then I'm kind of going through Ohio because I have to get to Pennsylvania. We're probably doing some stuff around Pittsburgh and Falling Water. And then scooting over to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the RV show. And then scooting down I got 2 weeks to get to Chattanooga. So we'll be on pretty much a tear. And then after Chattanooga, I'm probably going to go to Nashville and then go south into Texas and Arizona. That's the current plan. So so that's my question for you there. We're trying to get ahead of this, and with some Volta training appointments, that helps me get some trajectory. So again, if you have places you want to be a coordinator for a roundup or something like that, again, send me an email, and then we'll let you know where I'm going to be, and that will help us get going. All right, last thing for the night. This has been a fun show. We've got a lot of people here today. Next week we're going to talk about where to get water. I moved the situation on purging tonight. Okay, here we are. So this is a song of the week, and we either do that or a movie of the week. And no, I've not seen Top Gun Maverick yet, so I need to get with it. I'm too busy making videos and stuff. Okay, you ready for this? This is my recommendation song of the week. If you have one, again, hit me up on the website. Anybody want to guess what this is? The CD is kind of a tip, although it's like, what? And it ain't Queen, by the way. Loverboy. Turn Me Loose. When's the last time you heard that song, if ever? Loverboy was a super milestone band for me because my parents listened to it when they had parties. And if you're not familiar with Loverboy, they were formed in 1979. They're from Canada. And Loverboy, or Turn Me Loose, was their first big hit. It hit number 35 on the Hot 100 back in 1981 as a sophomore in high school. And what's cool is these boys are still pumping out the tunes. They are often in like casinos and fairs, and I would love to see them live. Now they're getting kind of old, like us all. But if you haven't heard that song in a while, spin up your music player and listen to that. They have like 5 or 8 songs that are just spectacular. Turn Me Loose is one If I'm in a bad mood, I just play that. I love the opening. It's really, really awesome. So that's the song of the week. Let me know if you've heard them lately or seen them alive. I would love to see them live. Um, okay, last. Thank you, Gilbert. Great woo. What's up, Wednesday? Appreciate that. So here's Jane kind of weighing in on Allied Forces. Asked the state trooper about open containers a few years ago. As long as they're stored in a cabinet and back away from driver and passenger, it's not an issue. That's kind of what I would think too. That'd be fun to interview a cop, right? And ask about that. That would be. Maybe we'll put that on the guest list. Get the chief of police, Forest Park. I'm not in town. I'm leaving tomorrow for Wisconsin. I am so excited to be moving on. I can't tell you what a difference it is. Oh, wow. Mike's in the house. Hey, Mike. Good to see you, sir. See you in Holland. Really? Oh, I am so excited. And Janice, maybe we can talk about some art. Oh, I'm so glad you're going. That is so great. Um, I just love this community. I'm telling you, we are doing some things to change lives, boys and girls. And you have changed my life more than you'll ever know. Um, I'm telling you, this thing is just the most amazing miracle. Um, yeah, see, Mike, Jane, and Roger, we all did the caravan from Pontiac to Springfield. So much fun driving our vans. Um, Kathmandu. Okay, last question. A couple more, and then we're done for the night. So Kathmandu wants to know, any plans to attend Overland Expo East? Aeon RV is supposed to be there October 7 and 9. Arlington, Virginia. The problem is I would be in Hershey on that week of the 13th or whatever it was, September, and then I have to be in Chattanooga for the Adventure Van Expo October 1 and 2, then drive back out to Arlington. Um, yeah, no, is the short answer. Um, they do have a cool RV. I've seen them online, um, but no, I will not be going there. Um, all right, so with that, let's see what else we got. If you had fun tonight, I sure appreciate you joining me. And as always, I just want to thank each and every one of you. You drive me forward. We got so much stuff going on, so many cool things coming up. I just want to raise a glass to each and every one of you because without you, we couldn't do this. Without you, I couldn't have an Embassy RV. Without you, I couldn't have a Volta. Without you, I couldn't have a YouTube channel, which is powering my freedom. So I'm helping, hopefully, to power yours a little bit. So a big thank you. Until we see you next week, I wish you to have a great week. Journey on, and we'll see you on Sunday for the premiere of the Scott score for the Travato 59K. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much.